education is so important about this level of schooling. The reality of the world today is that you need a college degree to achieve stability in this job market. College has definitely become a necessity rather than a privilege. The questions on higher education have now changed from will I go to college to how will I be able to afford college. Financial aid is one way that students loan money, but financial aid is a lot more complicated than lending money and paying it back in time. Every year, students and their parents sit down and fill out the dreadful form known as FAFSA. After painstakingly filling out this every blank needed, it becomes a waiting game. A game to see how much money you will receive to pay for college that year, and if you will lose this game with money, will you even be able to attend college because you won't be able to afford it? So the daunting question is, do you think higher education should or should not be funded by the government of Louisiana? I'm not going to persuade you into agreeing either side. Hopefully, the majority of us are not drastically affected by the issues of higher education funding. However, I'm going to persuade you to help with higher education advocates voice their plea on finding a way to avoid cuts funding in college and universities around the nation. As President Castile of the Southern University Alumni Federation says, as you very well know, higher education has been devastated over the past 6 years with all the budget cuts. He also said, it's difficult to run a system in this fashion. Because of this fashion, the budget cuts have affected higher education drastically. Financial advances have given possible students the ability to attend or have the opportunity to attend colleges even if they are financially unstable. But the financial aid students among the economic spectrum are burdened throughout student loans. The most affected are low-income families, particularly in the Louisiana scope of disinvestment, both startling and unique possibilities. In Louisiana, according to Gordon Russell, the advocate, higher education funding has been cut more than any other state since the slowdown has begun. He said state aid to universities had been slashed by 55%. This has affected many students and families not only in Louisiana, but across the nation throughout universities. Currently, as Louisiana lawmakers battle over this year's budget, leaders of state and college universities are holding on for what is likely the sixth cut in 9 years. A recent version of the budget passed by the Louisiana House cuts higher education systems by 12% from the previous year, a number that doesn't include TOPS funding. Many leaders of college and universities are at the wits' end of this fight and cannot take it any longer. These cuts are taking away opportunities for lower-income families and lowering enrollment rates drastically in Louisiana, thus reaffirming that a higher education fund should be substantially more important than it is supported to be. The government should not have their hands in something that they cannot fix, showing that they have not fixed this in over 6 years. Years of cuts have been made less affordable and less accessible for students who need degrees to be successful in today's economy. As states have slashed higher education funding, the prices of attending colleges have risen significantly faster over the years. Therefore, public colleges and universities have increased tuition to compensate for their decline in state funding, like sports and whatnot. According to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities in Louisiana and many other states, published tuition has gone up at least 60%. These harsh increases in tuition have accelerated in the long-term trends, making college less affordable, especially for low income. A graduate student at Southeastern Louisiana University, Stephanie Travis, a former SGA president, interviews with this advocate. She said years of repeated cuts to funding of school higher education have amounted to tax increase on student income tuition. She also has had many friends drop out because of the longer they could not afford college. Statistically, many of the students will not go back to college due to these budget cuts. We are allowing the budget cuts to ruin the dream of intellectual minds and their college education. Students across the nation are in great distress. Their only hope of bringing this stress to a halt is through assisted financial policies. Without loans and governmental funding, enrollment rates will continue to drop and students will not receive the education they need or deserve. They are taking away the freedom of education in the hope of a bright future. We are placing more heartache on those who are unable to afford college and who are losing out on those opportunities of higher education throughout colleges. As I stated before, I do not want to persuade you or change your mind, morals, or ultimate decision on funding of higher education. I'm just here to open your eyes to these issues, to show you that there are many students out there going through financial problems and have no way to afford or attend college. In the past, university budgets were cut by the government in order to reconcile the economic issues that was entailed in this nation. A plan has been spoken over the past few years would become to eliminate loans, grants, and higher education tax credits. By doing, debt would be put on the students and burden them throughout the future. By deleting and eliminating these funds and aids, students would pay for what they could afford and the state would fund the rest. With this change, lower income students would have the opportunity to attend college and come out debt-free. I and many authors of new American education policy understand that this is a very touchy topic, especially to those of low income of households. But these should be met and taken over due to formula funds. This would be eligible for these funds to invest in higher education. By eliminating all financial aid, universities would be forced to enroll lower income students and allow them to pay for what they can afford and eliminate unmet financial needs. As with making any decision, you have to weigh the positive and the negative aspects. While deciding if the issue is right for you, you need to put yourself into someone else's shoes and see how it is to not afford college, only being able to work a low-income job to survive. What if you were not able to get the education you deserve just because you couldn't afford it? You are living in a state where tuition has risen 60% in the last 6 years, and your only option is to work a minimum wage job because you do not have the opportunity to attend college and get a college degree. Education as we know it is very far out of reach. Without a debt-free college in this nation, we will see and hear many stories of inability to receive education, or you will hear stories of students who attend college through grants and financial aid, and because of this are in debt. Adler Rose is a single mother who is an example of these Pell Grants. Receiving her bachelor degree through these grants, she was allowed to get an education to take care of her kids in a single mother household. Her oldest also graduated college with these Pell Grants. Even though this made it possible for her to have the education she needed and for her child to attend college, they will always be paying back these debts due to the Pell Grants and student aid. It's stories like these that we will continue to hear until plans are put in place for students to attend college debt-free. Until plans are implemented to eliminate student loans, grants, and tax raises, college will forever burden students with debt. The current system is a combination of vouchers, loans, grants, which follow the student. The university and college systems have failed to give their students education at an affordable price, according to the new American education policy. College debt-free gives students and families the opportunity to receive education that they deserve on an affordable plan. So, when you're considering supporting the funding of higher education, think about it if you would be in the shoes, or if you currently are, or someone in your family. Would you want to suffer, not be allowed to attend college, knowing that you will never get your dream job just because you weren't allowed to get an education and a degree? Not everyone wants to attend college, but everyone deserves the same opportunity. As the authors of the new education policy state, imagine a world where all students' financial needs were met. By legislating higher education funding, every student is given an equal opportunity of education. You are giving them the right to choose their own path and not going down the path that they are forced to go. Higher education is important. Why not give the opportunity to receive education without the burden of debt?